Hey, what's up guys? Tetrak here, back with another video. This time I'm looking at Arena Valor, and I've set this up with the Xbox controller just because I wanted to see how it would feel um, with a kind of like a gamepad that has analog sticks. But this can definitely be set up the same way with the Steam controller, so either one you use, it's going to work out really good. Um, I'm actually liking a lot with the controller. So right now I am using the controller. I'm moving the mouse with the right thumbstick here. And I'm emulating this through BlueStacks, which is an Android emulator. So this is an Android game. It's made by the people who own League of Legends. So um, it has a lot of similarities from what I hear. It just came to the States. And I'm not a big League of Legends player. I play Heroes of the Storm, but um, this kind of makes me want to play League of Legends just to see what it's like. I've jumped into it a couple times and it was okay. I mean, it was okay at first, but I didn't really know what was going on, the huge learning curve. But I feel I've kind of broken past that and I understand what's going on, especially with this game. If you want something lighter that'll kind of bump you into League of Legends and you haven't played it, go with this because this is going to teach you a lot of the mechanics of it. Plus, man, it just feels very, very good with the controller because it's made for a touchscreen and it adapts very well to a controller. Okay, so BlueStacks is the Android emulator. You can see if I go home here, this is basically the desktop with the App Center and everything. So you can actually go look at games and all that and find Android games to play. Also, I am using, the other thing I am using is a global Steam controller with my Steam, because I am setting this up through Steam. So if I go here to the controller config, controller config here, you'll see that this is what I have set up. I'll go through this here real quick in a second, but I am using a Steam overlay, and the only way that I could really do that while giving each game their own unique config is through global Steam controller. So it's GLoSC. If you look that up on Google, you can download it. I'll try to post a link. It's going to be on GitHub, so you can download that. So with global Steam controller and BlueStacks, I'm able to do this. I also play this in full screen mode, so when I set this up, when you set global Steam controller, you can see it fills the whole screen, so it's going to go off of whatever you resolution you have it set at. So make sure you have it where you want it, your resolution, or full screen, or if you're going to play in window mode, that's what you're going to do, because this setting does rely a lot on placement. So if you increase the size of the screen or decrease it, the placement's going to get thrown off, and you're not going to be able to use it correctly without moving some things around. So okay. So first off, let's go over what I have here. So the default is going to be your movements, right? WASDF is on the left stick, and the right stick is going to be the joystick mouse. I did move the O to the right bumper for your, I guess it would be considered your ultimate. I don't know what that is. It's just an extra attack. I think it's your ultimate. So I'm debating what I'm going to do with this click O right now. Okay, over here, the space is going to be your primary attack, and the left mouse is to select things. The J, H, and K, and I'll show you where all these come from here in a second when I jump into a thing, are your attacks, and the I, Y, and U are going to be how you upgrade them. So the J, H, K are regular presses, and the I, Y, and U are going to be long presses. Open the store is going to be up. I got to mess with this. It's a little buggy, but I'll show you how it works here in a second. But I think I got this almost down here. you're able to buy 2 items, quick items, so left and right, or item 1 and item 2. And B is going to be your health, which is down. So opening the stores up. And F is basically the click action, which is your recall to base. So if you ever played a MOBA, you go back to base to heal. The cool thing about this MOBA is kind of like you can buy anywhere on the map, which I really appreciate, rather than going back. So it makes the games a lot faster than having to go back, purchase, or, put things up on, pre-sale or however they do it in some of the other MOBAs where you buy them, but then you have to go back to get them and equip them. Okay, I broke these down into layers, and the reason I did that is because I'm using, if you look down here, instead of being a mouse, it's now a mouse region, because you need to be able to press it and direct it. And let's get into a game. I'm going to go ahead and show you why that is. So we're going to go into a training. Actually, we'll just go and select a hero. Sorry, heroes. Just select him. Got this pretty cool skin with him right now. Everything here, it seems so far right now, it doesn't seem like you have to pay a lot to get into it. And they're giving away a lot of free things, and so you get a lot of heroes or champions, whatever you want to call them, to play around with. Right now, I think I've unlocked 3 in the past, few days. So 3 or 4, and I guess depending on how much you play and level up, you'll be able to unlock more. So, okay. So these 2 X's mean that you're going to be able to level one of these up right now, and that means, and they're darkened out, means you don't have them. So if I hold I'm going to show you real quick, because in this you'll be able to set up a keyboard, and it has a standard one already set up. So you can see that if I press H, it's going to activate this button. If I press J, it's going to activate this, and K, and so on. And your level ups right here. This right here in game is not the recall. The recall is actually over here. And this is kind of like another ability, an ultimate of some sort. And then B is going to be your heal, which isn't showing on here either. And then your space is going to be your attack, okay? And you can see right here, this is where you control things. Other things I have set up are map. If I want to take a quick look at the leaderboards, I hit P, and then E, Q and E are the quick item buys that'll pop up, and then L is the store. Okay, so it's how I got the button set up. So you can see I'm using I'm using the thumbstick, the left thumbstick. I'm moving around, right? And while I'm moving around, I'm gonna go ahead and level up my first ability by holding the X button. Should work. Yeah. So it leveled it up, and then this game is a lot of auto attack. The way you have it set up, you can set it to where you click on things, but it's more fun if you just do the basic and let it auto attack. And you could set up like priorities. I'll show you that in a second. In the game settings. So it'll prioritize other champions over minions, even though you get gold off of minions. So if a hero comes within, you can do that. So you can see over there on the left here, right here, I have 2 items. If I hit left on my directional pad, I get this one. If I hit right on the directional pad, I get this one. So do I want more speed or power? I'm going to take the attack path right now. And you can see it was that easy to do. I'm going to go ahead and level up this skill right here by holding Y. If it does it.
One shot, one
there we go.
kill.
That's really weird that it was taking so long. So I'm just tapping A. Okay, now the reason I have mouse region set up is because some of these abilities you can actually control the directions that you want to shoot them in right? So take for instance my first ability down there that looks like a star, which is this one right here, right? You can actually control the direction you want to shoot it. So that's my left trigger, and I'll show you what it does. Okay, so if I hold it, do you see down here, my mouse is going to jump down here. It's going to become a mouse region around this area. So I'm holding it. Well, it's on cooldown right now, but I'm holding it, and then as I move my right thumbstick, so I could be moving around, right? I can actually choose a direction, and then release it, and it'll actually shoot that target wherever direction I'm pointing in. So you get targeting this way. So my left bumper does X, right? My what is it? I'm sorry, that's my left trigger. My right, yeah, my left trigger. My left bumper does Y, okay? And you can see it actually used it. And then my right trigger will do the B button, which I don't have yet, but I'm going to go ahead and level it up if I can. I have to go in there and look and see what's going on. There it goes. I don't know why it shouldn't take that long to click and hold. There's something going on there. So now I have that. If I hold this, see, I can release it, and it does a different ability there. So I find that the targeting, the auto targeting works pretty well. So you don't have to like worry about directional targeting too much, unless you want to, like, you're getting chased from behind or something, and you want to, like, if I'm running away and I want to target behind me, right, or something like that, you can do that. So right now I can level up and I don't know why these aren't working correctly. I have to look at the settings real quick, because these are long presses. Yeah, they're long presses. And these are regular presses. Huh.
One shot, one kill.
There we go. I don't know. It's really weird. Maybe it was a Steam bug. I have no idea. Yeah, now it's working correctly. As you saw, I just leveled that one up really quickly. Yeah, it must have been a quick bug that was going on until I went back into the Steam overlay.
You have defeated an enemy.
So, yeah, so this is a setup. Okay, so essentially what I had to do is set up 3 mouse regions for each of the abilities down here, right? So that ability had a mouse region, this ability has a mouse region, and this ability has a mouse region. So you can direct your shots, right? And that's why, if you look at my overlay, the Steam overlay, the controller config here, you can see I have 3 different abilities here, right? And then the main attack, I had a mouse region set up for that, but I found that you really don't need it. But I left it up there just in case I was going to need it at a later time with a different hero, because I don't know if there's any heroes that use primary directional attacks, you know? So I was like, you know what, I'll just leave that as a layer just in case I need it, and that way I don't have to recreate that mouse region, which can be a pain because you have to size them and then move them around until you get them in the correct place. And I'm pretty OCD about like the placement of that, you know. So that's how that works. The store, The way I have that set up, because I have a list there in the controller config here, the buy menu. I have these set up differently than what the normal default is. The normal default, you can cancel a pre-order, you can do a pre-order left, you can buy or sell by hitting down, and then the remove action layer buy, you're going to need that to remove it to get back to default. And then the cursor move, actually might take that off and just put it back to W and move it over here. But so I'll show you what the cursor move does and what everything does here. So when you open your buy menu, this list here is here for you can switch between the two, right? And then switch between these, and then you can go through and pick something. So what you normally have to do is you have to select it and then come down to purchase, right? But with this macro that I created with the Steam controller, which I'm getting killed right now, let's move out of the way here.
Always
Right.
one step ahead.
With the macro I created with the Steam controller, all you have to do is hit down while you're hovering over it, and it purchased. You see, it just purchased that item. It basically moved here, clicked, and then moved back. So, and then if I want to sell it, I just do the same thing, right? I just hit down. If I want to put something on pre-order, see how it did on pre-order. I want to cancel that. I hit right, it cancels it. So that way I don't have to constantly be moving the mouse. And on a controller like an Xbox controller, it's really slow. Now with the Steam controller, you probably may not want to even do that, but it makes it really fast and efficient with a controller, so you don't have to wait for the mouse to get there, click it, and then whatever. Also, you can see here my mouse is jumping between items, so I got it cycling through some moves, so I don't have to move my mouse over there. That's part of the thing, right? And then when I close it out, it should go back to normal. Okay, so it seems to be working pretty well. And it feels like like a console game almost, because it fits so well with the Xbox controller, or sure with the PS controller. And then let's see, go ahead and buy that. So I just bought those items without having to move my mouse at all. I'm going to go back. Recall.
Don't worry, I've got my ways.
Usually takes you back to the... Oh, I think it's because I'm in the trial. It doesn't care. Just brought you back to there. But normally it brings you back here, you heal up, and then you're able to go back out. So it's a pretty fun game. This is like I said, the trial mode. Okay, so the map is a soft pull on the right trigger and A. Oh no, I'm sorry, right bumper and A brings it up, right? And then if you're holding over the A, you can hit your A. You can just tap your A button to put things on there. Looks like I might have to set up a left trigger somewhere so I can do the calls. There's certain call outs you can do when the map is open.
Pick your battle wisely.
Yeah. So So you can call out on my way, missing, defend, right? And do that. So I'm gonna have to, there's a couple things I'm gonna have to mess with to make sure I get those down properly, but I will get those down because playing with this controller is fun. You can see it seems to move pretty good, and this game actually looks pretty good for an Android game. You know? I know there's another one out there that's very similar to this, but this game actually came out in China first, before the other game that's on the market.
One shot,
and
one kill.
And it, from what I hear, it's logging like a day. I can't remember, like 80 million people a day. It's insane what they're doing. The kind of business they say they're doing in China. So it must be doing well. It just came to the States. So definitely recommend giving it a try. And working with these emulators is pretty good. And the games are really fast. When you get in a game, I mean, you're talking about like 12 to 18 minutes. That's what they're saying, standard games. And I really, so picking this up on your phone is just awesome. It's like, feels like a supplement for going home on a PC and playing on a PC game. And honestly, it's really fun to play it on my big screen right now. I'm playing on my TV. And that wasn't good. I don't know what I did with my. Is that my? Oh, maybe because I put my ultimate over there. So, but yeah, guys. What I'll do is I'll throw this config up. You guys can take a look at it on YouTube, and you know, just kind of mess around with it. Like I said, this is built for mine. I'm running this at 1080 full screen mode. So if you're running 1080 full screen, it might actually adapt right to it, and you won't have any issues. But if you're running on different resolutions, you probably are going to have to go to each ability, come down to the mouse regions here, and adjust the positioning and vertical positioning to fit the screen size. And you may even have to scale these a bit. But I would show you how, how I did it. I'm trying to think the easiest way. Okay, so
oh, man.
if you see over here, I'm holding this trigger, right? That the pointer is the edge of the mouse region, so that's how tiny that mouse region is, right? But it allowed me to get a perfect circle around that one. Same with this one, is the edge of the mouse is the edge of the region. So what you're gonna have to do is, if you have a different resolution, is adjust that region size so it gets in there pretty well. And you don't have to be as exact as me, because this is built for a touchscreen. You could have it actually off a little bit, as long as you're touching this thing right here. Look, I'll show you.
Always one step ahead.
Well, I don't think I have a left trigger built in here. Let's see if I can put this real quick. So I'll go up to default. I can change this button real quick. Take off the space, right? And I'll put it back in later. Okay, so if I hold it, you see how it's basically essentially what what I'm doing is I'm making a mouse region over this thing, and then I'm holding the left button, which makes it activates it, and then you're spinning it around. You see my mouse is actually not staying in a circle over there because there's no mouse region on this, right? So what I did was I created a mouse region so it would stay within this circle here, but so you don't have to be that accurate with this if you set it up yourself, you know. As long as you make the mouse region big enough to where it can go around this circle, you'll be golden. So what happened here? Messed up one of my settings. No.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
I've got my way.
So you see how that my mouse is staying in a tight circle? It's not going outside that range. So it works really well for me. Just some tricks here, tips and tricks for this. Like I said, I'll put it up on the Steam config file. You guys can give it a go.
Pick your battles
I don't know. This may
wisely.
give me a competitive edge over the people who use mobile devices because you can play online with this. But I've watched other videos and people are using mouse and keyboard and they're playing it almost like League of Legends and all that by clicking.
Oh
And I'm
man,
like, man, that's
the
crazy
stuff.
because you could set up the key bindings and use a mouse and keyboard, but I'm using it as a controller. I prefer the controller, even though I'm sure, like everybody says, mouse and keyboard is probably, the best way, most accurate.
One shot,
This
one
is
kill.
definitely, for me, the most fun. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up if you like this. Have a good one.